My name is Ruth Frith, and I'm 103, and I have just made a new world record when I was in New Zealand in March. I compete in the hammer, the shot, the discus, the javelin, and the weight. I used to run, but I don't now.
Ruth Frith must only weigh about 48 kilos. She is no taller than 5 foot and looks like a breeze may blow her over. Her wrinkles even had wrinkles, but so would you if you were 103. My great-grandmother lived until she was 104, but she was nothing like Ruth. She was dressed like your typical grandma, complete with cardigan and comfortable shoes. But just like Clarke Kent from Superman, Ruth has a hidden power. When she changes into her uniform to represent her country at the World Master Games, she's definitely not your typical old lady.
I am, at the moment, the oldest athlete competing in the world. I've always been an athlete. So I would say all my life I have been an athlete, Yeah, my favourite is the hammer. And that's what I made the world record for being 100 over in New Zealand. I had to compete with the 85ers, I think, because there are no other 100 in the world. I'm the oldest one in the world. Every 4 years, you go up another standard. Now, if I was going to go to Brazil next year or the year after, I will be 100, well over 100. And there still won't be anyone to compete against. So I don't think going and taking all that money to get there and everything is worth it just to get a medal. It doesn't appeal to me.
Nice one, Mum.
Yeah, that's another thing that alters with your age. You either start with a 4K hammer, then it comes down 3, then it comes down the next 4 years, and then it comes 2.
You can do your hand like that.
At the moment I throw a 2K hammer, and I made the new world record in New Zealand this year with a 2K hammer, and I did 16 metres.
Changing to there, right? Come to there, the end of that line. Come to there.
Every Saturday, Ruth turns up at Cole Bennett Park in Brisbane to train with her daughter Helen. Helen is 73 and is a former Olympian herself. She competed in high jump and long jump. And with a coach like that, Ruth is absolutely committed to her training.
Come to there. Amanda, I should go away by that much. You can't afford to do that to your opponent.
Oh, well, I have a gym, I have the weight bench, I have the bicycle, and I do weights. Then we go down to the oval, which is Little A's oval, and Helen will do somebody's shot, and I criticise what she's doing wrong. Then I go in and do shot or discus or whatever we're doing, and she criticises me. And that's how we help each other in becoming better. No, I don't get tired or anything like that. As a matter of fact, with training, we start 8:30 in the mornings down at the Oval, and I could train and train and train. I love training, I really do. 8:30 till 10:30, and that doesn't worry me. At 103.
At 103, Ruth seems unstoppable. It's hard to believe at one stage of her life, Ruth was mostly on the sidelines, watching and not doing any sport herself. But she hadn't started out like that. As a child, Ruth was blessed with athletic genetics, straight from her father, who was a runner himself.
My father often used to say to us, this house I built with the money I won in racing. Now, they did get good money in those days for running, and they did travel, because he went to Tasmania to run in some big race, and he won it. My father was very proud that he built our house on the money he won on. Yeah. Well, my father was, of course, I'm going back because my father was well over 100, but there was only more or less sprinting, and you could throw the javelin and those sort of things, but running was the main thing. In my husband's day, it was running and long jump.
That was how men played sport back in their childhood. But it was a different story for women. Ladies weren't really supposed to do sport.
Now, I went to Sydney to live in 1960. And now, girls were not allowed to run, junior girls, which is up to 18. I was not allowed to run a 200. You could run 150, but you couldn't run 200. So the times changed as to what, and there was no such thing as a hammer and all that. That was unheard of. You could do shot and you could do discus, but you couldn't do hammer.
And then Ruth did what many women of her generation did. She married and became a mother and had kids. There was no time for doing sports, just watching. Ruth became an official at state games and helped hundreds of young athletes find their feet. And they would never forget it, even years later.
When you're 15, you look totally different to when you're 40. But they would come up to me and say, "Hello, Mrs. Frith. I used to compete at a sports ground." And I'd have to think, who on earth are you? But it is nice to think girls remember you.
But when Ruth was a senior citizen, she decided that she was sick of standing by the sidelines and minding the bags. And straight away, she proved that she was a champion herself.
My most prized position in athletics is the first medal that I ever won. I was 74, I think, yeah. And that's when I first joined the Masters. When I joined it and I went to Rome and competed. Actually, in the Masters, the first big race I ever ran was against a New Zealander. And we did the shot and we did the discus. She was down, but she didn't turn up. And then the next one she turned up at, and I said, "You didn't come to the shot and the discus." And she said, "No, I'm saving myself for the 100. And I thought, over my dead body, will you win the 100? It was my first big race internationally, and to think I beat the New Zealander, which I've sworn I'll never go back to New Zealand again since this year. So that was my greatest thrill, was to race against a New Zealander at 100 metres. I came first. That's when I made my first world record. It felt marvellous to beat a New Zealander.
Ruth Frith is 103. Just think of how much the world has changed in the time she's been alive. The internet, cars, computers, 2 world wars, and the civil changes and cultural changes of the 20th century. But some things haven't changed at all, like Ruth's love of sport.
I think it gives you a sense of freedom, being an athlete. You can run, you can do all those sorts of things. So I think it gives you that sense of freedom, and because I love climbing trees, and I was getting trouble about that. But I do love sport. From the primary school, and here I am 103 and I still love sport. The world doesn't come to an end because you don't win. But I really do think the sheer love of doing it or being there overcomes everything. Whether you win or you lose, doesn't matter. I should be stopping right now because I'm running out of competitors. There's nobody over 100, there's no 90. When the body tells me to stop, that's when I'll stop. You're born to run, you're born to walk, you're born to swim. It's in your genes, and it's when you're born, all these things, but then it's up to you, if you're given a gift, But it's up to you to use it. Don't let the gift die because you weren't interested enough to get involved with it. But always go out and do your best, no matter what it is. Do your best. And if you do your best, well, you can't be disappointed because you did the most possible thing, you did your best. I still say, even though you're given a gift and it's up to you to use it, you also have to try to be better. I don't listen to anybody who says, oh, you should give it up, you're too old. I don't listen to that sort of talk. I always think, oh, well, they're either jealous of what you do or they can't be bothered doing it. So I just go ahead and live my own life.